Welcome to my house.
Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in. As always, I appreciate that. Next up in my Steam library is The Seventh Guest. This is the first game. I actually already reviewed the sequel. It's the 11th Hour, but The Seventh Guest introduced us for the first time to the creepy doll maker, Stauff, who challenges the player to solve his riddles and puzzles that are scattered throughout his spooky mansion.
But old Matt Stauff is waiting there. Crazy, sick, and mean!
And every time you solve a puzzle, a piece of the story is revealed through full-motion video sequences. Now, the story isn't really that interesting. It's about a bunch of guests that visited the mansion and disappeared. And who is that seventh guest? It's up to you to find out. At the time of its release in 1993, this was a pioneering game in the sense that it capitalized on the newly introduced CD-ROM technology, which allowed for way more storage capacity, hence the aforementioned full-motion video sequences. And as it goes with pioneering games, they hardly stand the test of time, as technology has a tendency to progress. Nowadays, The Seventh Guest looks quite awful with its low-res, compressed videos and muffled speech and soundtrack, although the soundtrack is made by the legendary Fat Man and is actually quite fantastic, but it's in MIDI form and that just doesn't sound very well. Now, the low quality compared to nowadays standards is in a way fitting, as the story is quite silly, as I said, and the acting in the videos is quite bad. But that gives the whole thing sort of a campy feel. Its sequel, as I said, The 11th Hour, did improve on that because of the higher budget, thanks to the success of this game, but only to an extent. So, in this game you point and click your way through the house, and every screen transition is so clunky and slow moving that it becomes very irritating. The puzzles in The Seventh Guest are quite difficult, as they're based usually on chess, and others include picture puzzles and riddles and mazes for you to solve. I personally prefer contextual puzzles, where you solve a problem that relates to the context of the story or the environment, rather than the sort of abstract ones that you will find in The Seventh Guest. But still, if you're into that kind of type of puzzles, where you have to break your brain to figure it out, you know, to spend a lot of time trialing, erroring a solution, be my guest. Pun intended here. But nowadays, there's just very little to recommend here, especially for a new player. But there is a crowd-funded third installment named 13th Doll in the works. So if you're interested in that, I will post a link in the description below so you can check that out. But again, The Seventh Guest, not really recommended nowadays. Thank you guys for watching and see you next time.
Come back!